Hello Year 5 and welcome to your spellings lesson. So we're going to start doing our spellings now every week. And we're going to start off looking at creating nouns using the ity suffix. Okay. So I'm going to flash up some sentences and what I'd like you to do is see if you can spot the suffix word in the sentence. So baking cakes and biscuits was Nadine's speciality. Can you find the ity suffix? Good, well done. Speciality, well done. Okay, so you can see the ity at the end. All right then, what about this sentence then? The majority of the people polled, voted for the red party. Oh, that was a mouthful. So can you find the ity suffix in that sentence? Oh, good, well done. So the majority of the people. Right, let's explore those two words. We have speciality and majority. So what type of word have we created when we've added the ity suffix? So think about it, we've got our verbs, we've got our nouns, we've got our adverbs, we've got our adjectives. What type of word have we created once we've added that suffix? Oh, okay, well done. So they've actually both become nouns, okay? So they are things. It is a speciality, it was a majority. But what do you think the words were when they were the root words? The root words are the beginning parts of the words, the main words that we've added a suffix or prefix onto. So obviously we changed them into nouns, but what were they originally? So if you describe someone as being special or describe something as being major, what type of word class have we used there? Okay, so they actually both were adjectives. So when we add that ity suffix, we usually change adjectives, so a describing word, into a noun. Okay. Now, those two are quite easy ones to add our suffixes onto because the root word itself doesn't change. Okay, so here we can see you've got special and the ity and it turns straight into speciality. So we've just glued them together. Same for majority. But do we think that that rule applies to all of our words? Well, let's explore. So it says working with a partner, okay, using a dictionary if you need to. I want you to add the ity suffix to turn these adjectives I'm going to give you into nouns. Now, you may have a partner at school that you can work with. You may be at home on your own, which is fine. And if you need a dictionary, then by all means use one. But see if you can have a go at working out how we would change them into nouns. So think about whether the root word needs to change or not. And then think about, well, what kind of group could I put them into based on what you had to do? Okay, so I'm not going to time you. Okay, but these are the words that I would like you to change. Okay, so you have active, curious, able, eternal, sensitive, flexible, captive, possible, visible, and communal. So I want you to add the ity suffix, but you need to think about whether you need to leave the words as they are or whether you'll need to take one or more than one letter off to create our new word, okay? So to pause the video and see if you can have a go at adding our suffix onto the end of those words. Okay, so let's go through some of the rules because we can group those words into different categories. So if we look at active, sensitive, and captive, what did you notice about the words that you started with when you then had to add your ity suffix on? Well, I noticed that I actually had to get rid of the E. So active, when it became activity, there's no E there. And I noticed that when I did it with captive and sensitive, I noticed that all three E's had been taken off the end so that we could add our suffix on. So sometimes when adding that suffix, we have to remove that E from the end of our adjectives. Now, do you think that applied to all of the words that we looked at? Well, no, it didn't. So for some of them, we just have to take the one E off the end. Now, changing some of these words like flexible and flexibility, if you notice here, we've actually had to remove the L and the E. So we've got rid of both of those letters at the end and we've added an additional part of our word. Same for able and same for visible. Now, if you look at it, it's exactly the same rule for possibility as well. So it's almost like that LE has been changed to an IL. So when that suffix is added to a word that ends in LE, we actually have to replace them. We actually have to add additional letters to our suffix. So rather than becoming ity, it becomes ility. So possible becomes possibility. So we've added some additional letters to our suffix sound. So we've looked at removing the E when we have some of our E words at the end. And then we've looked at, well, when we have LE words, we have to add additional letters. Now, can you think of any other nouns where you think that rule applies? If you can, pause the video and see if you can jot them down for me. Okay, now there are some of these words that don't belong in this group. So we have the word curious. Now, if we look at the word curious and curiosity, we've actually missed out one of our original letters. So although we've not taken off the end letter, we've actually skipped a letter. So the root word in itself has actually changed completely. Now, this is what we call an exception to the rules. So although we have rules for words ending in E and for words ending in LE, this one doesn't fit any of those rule banks. So it's the odd word out, but it is a word that you'll need to know because it is indeed one of your year 5-6 spelling words, okay? So curious and curiosity, we keep the S, but we remove the U at the beginning, and then we add our ITY onto the end. So your spelling words for today are community, curiosity, ability, captivity, activity, sensitivity, possibility, flexibility, visibility, and eternity. So you can see there that the words I gave at the beginning that I wanted you to change using adding our suffixes on were actually these words. So if you go back and look at the activity you did at the beginning to see if you managed to change them, have a look at the ones you got correct and then have a look at the ones that you might have made a mistake on. And you can see using the rules how we've had to change some of our root words to add our suffixes on the end. So I'm going to send you home a couple of worksheets, okay, and I want you to have a practice of your spellings, and then next week we will do a quick recap and we will then do our spelling test, okay? So make sure you're doing a look, cover, write check. Make sure you're practicing spellings throughout the week. Don't suddenly do it 5 minutes before you do the video. You will not learn the words that way. And I'm going to be keeping an eye out for some of these words that might crop up in our English work in the next few weeks. So I'll know if you've been learning your spellings because I'll know. Same like I do with your reading. I've seen some of you include some of your reading vocabulary into your English, okay? So have a practice of those through the week and we will do a spelling test next Wednesday, okay? Good luck, year 5.